You think abundance is something you chase, something you earn through decades of grinding, strategizing, accumulating. But what if I told you that wealth isn't something you pursue at all? That the very act of chasing it guarantees it'll always stay just beyond your reach, like trying to grab your own shadow? Right now, somewhere in your life, there's a gap. Maybe it's in your bank account. Maybe it's in the opportunities that seem to find everyone except you. You've tried the vision boards, the affirmations, the hustle culture mantras about rising and grinding, and still, the abundance you're seeking feels like it's happening on another planet while you're stuck here, nose pressed against the glass. Here's what nobody tells you. The reason you don't have what you want isn't because you're not working hard enough. It's because you're working from a fundamental misunderstanding about how wealth actually moves in this universe. Think about water for a moment. When you squeeze your fist around it, what happens? It slips through your fingers. But when you relax your hand, cup it gently, the water stays. It pools, it accumulates. Abundance works exactly the same way, but we've been taught to approach it with clenched fists and grinding teeth. You've probably noticed something strange. The people who seem to attract money effortlessly aren't the ones obsessing over it. They're not checking their bank accounts 5 times a day or lying awake calculating how they'll make rent. There's a lightness to them, an ease, and you might think that ease comes from having money, but you've got it backwards. The money comes from the ease. I know how that sounds. Like spiritual bypassing, like toxic positivity dressed up in manifestation language. But stay with me because what I'm about to explain has nothing to do with pretending your problems don't exist. Every single day, you're broadcasting a signal, not metaphorically, actually broadcasting. Your nervous system, your thoughts, your habitual emotional states, they're all generating a frequency that interacts with the field of possibility around you. When you're in a state of lack, of desperation, of needing things to be different than they are, you're essentially shouting into the universe, I don't have enough. I am not enough. And the universe, being the perfect mirror that it is, reflects that exact reality back to you. But here's where it gets interesting. You can't fake abundance. You can't trick the universe with affirmations you don't believe or visualizations that feel hollow. Your subconscious knows the truth. It knows when you're performing wealth consciousness versus actually embodying it. So what do you do? How do you shift from desperate chasing to magnetic receiving? The answer is simpler than you think, but it requires you to do something that might feel completely backwards. You have to find abundance right now, not tomorrow, not when the money comes. Now, in this exact moment, with whatever circumstances you're currently in. Look around you. You're reading this, which means you have a device and internet access. That's abundance. You have eyes that can process these words, a brain that can comprehend complex ideas. That's abundance. You're breathing without effort. Your heart is beating without your conscious control. You're alive in an era where information that would have cost fortunes a century ago is available instantly. That's not just abundance. That's overflow. But your mind dismisses all of this because it's not the specific abundance you decided you needed. You've got a mental image of what wealth looks like, a number in a bank account, a lifestyle, a feeling of security. And because your current reality doesn't match that image, you've labeled your entire existence as lacking. This is the trap. The more you focus on the gap between where you are and where you want to be, the more you energetically anchor yourself in deficiency. You're literally practicing poverty consciousness while hoping for wealth. It's like trying to get to the gym by thinking constantly about how out of shape you are. The shift happens when you stop treating abundance as a destination and start recognizing it as your natural state. Not because you're delusional, not because you're ignoring real problems, but because you're finally seeing what was always there. Every person who's experienced sudden, unexpected wealth, the kind that seems to come out of nowhere, will tell you the same thing if they're honest. Right before it happened, they let go. Not in a defeated way, not in a giving up way. They released the desperate grip. They stopped making their happiness conditional on the money arriving. They found a way to be okay, genuinely okay, with what was. And that's when everything changed. Because here's the secret that the entire self-help industry doesn't want you to know. You can't attract what you're chasing. You can only attract what you are. When you're in a state of lack, you attract more lack. When you're in a state of abundance, when you can genuinely feel grateful for what's already here, you become a magnet for more of that same frequency. But how do you make that shift when your bank account is screaming one reality and I'm asking you to feel another? You start with what I call the reality sandwich technique. You acknowledge what's real without making it mean something about your worth or your future. Yes, the account is low. That's a fact. But that fact doesn't define your relationship with abundance any more than a cloudy Tuesday defines your relationship with the sun. The sun is still there. Abundance is still there. You've just been looking at the clouds and declaring that light doesn't exist. Here's what actually works. You find one thing, just one, that you can genuinely appreciate right now, not in a forced gratitude journal way where you're writing things you think you should feel grateful for. I mean something that actually lands in your body as real. Maybe it's hot coffee. Maybe it's a conversation that made you laugh. Maybe it's the fact that your legs work and you walked somewhere today without thinking about it. Start there. Feel it. Let it be enough for 10 seconds. What you're doing in that moment is retraining your nervous system. You're teaching your body what abundance actually feels like. And newsflash, it doesn't feel like tension and grasping. It feels like ease, like enough, like the exhale after you've been holding your breath. Do this enough times and something strange starts happening. Opportunities appear that were invisible before, not because the universe suddenly decided to bless you, but because you're finally available to notice them. When you're in scarcity mode, your perception literally narrows. It's a survival mechanism. Your brain filters out everything except the threat, which in this case is not having enough. But when you relax into what's already here, your perception expands. You see options you missed. You remember resources you forgot you had. You make connections that seemed impossible yesterday. I watched this happen with someone who was convinced they were unemployable. Months of rejections, savings disappearing. Every day, more evidence that the world didn't want what they offered. Then something shifted. Not in their circumstances, in them. They stopped checking their email every 5 minutes. They stopped rehearsing their pitch to invisible investors. They went outside. They helped a neighbor. They cooked an actual meal instead of eating anxiety for breakfast. 2 days later, a former colleague reached out about a project. Nothing they'd applied for, nothing they'd chased. It just appeared because they finally stopped broadcasting desperation and started existing as someone who already had value to offer. This isn't magic. It's physics. Energy moves toward coherence and away from chaos. When you're fractured, constantly oscillating between hope and fear, you're static noise. Nothing can find its way to you through that interference. But when you stabilize, when you find even a small island of okay within the storm, you become a clear signal, and clear signals get responses. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds like spiritual bypassing, like I'm telling you to ignore real problems and just vibe your way to wealth. I'm not. Pay your bills, send the resumes, do the practical things, but do them from a different place. Do them as someone who's already abundant, who's just moving energy around, rather than as someone who's desperately trying to outrun disaster. The difference is palpable. People feel it. Opportunities sense it. Even your own creative intelligence responds differently when it's not operating under threat. You make better decisions. You see clearer paths. You stop sabotaging yourself in ways you didn't even know you were doing. Here's the part that might sting a little. If money hasn't come yet, some part of you doesn't actually want it. Not the conscious you that's working hard and doing everything right. The subconscious you. The part that might believe money makes people corrupt, or that wealth means you'll lose your authentic relationships, or that you don't deserve it because of something you did or didn't do. These beliefs are running silently in the background, creating resistance that no amount of action can overcome. So the real work isn't out there. It's in here, sitting with yourself long enough to hear what you actually believe about money, about worth, about what it means to have while others don't. Those beliefs are the invisible fence keeping you in scarcity, and until you dismantle them, you'll keep hitting the same barrier no matter how fast you run. The beautiful thing is, once you see this, once you really see how you've been creating the very thing you're trying to escape, the game changes completely. You're no longer a victim of circumstances. You're the architect of your experience. And architects don't chase buildings, they design them. Right now, in this moment, you have everything you need to shift your frequency from lack to abundance. Not because I said so, because it's true. The question isn't whether abundance is available. It's whether you're finally ready to stop blocking it with the one thing that's always been in your way: you.